You know that moment when pain stops demanding attention and instead becomes part of the background of your life. Not something you react to anymore, but something you quietly organize yourself around. You wake up with it. You carry it through the day. You fall asleep knowing it will be there again tomorrow. If that feels familiar, you're not failing to cope. You're experiencing the psychology of the one who suffers. And suffering isn't defined by intensity. It's defined by duration. Here's the first thing people get wrong about suffering. They assume it's visible. They think suffering looks like breaking down, asking for help, or being unable to function. In reality, the deepest suffering often belongs to the people who function the best. They show up. They perform. They laugh at the right moments. And then they go home carrying a weight no one else sees. Suffering doesn't always interrupt life. Sometimes it quietly becomes the structure holding it together. Pain is immediate. It demands response. Suffering is what happens when pain outlasts urgency. When there's no clear timeline for relief, the nervous system adapts. It stops asking, "When will this end?" and starts asking, "How do I live with this?" That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. Endurance replaces resistance. Survival replaces hope. And over time, suffering reshapes identity. This is where resilience is often misunderstood. Resilience isn't about staying positive or pushing through. It's about learning how to exist in a reality you didn't choose. The brain begins conserving energy. Emotions flatten not because you don't feel, but because feeling everything would be unsustainable. This isn't numbness as failure. It's numbness as protection. Quick question. Have you ever noticed how people who suffer long-term become incredibly precise with their energy? They know exactly what drains them and what they can no longer afford. This isn't bitterness. It's efficiency. When pain is constant, wasted energy becomes dangerous. So the mind trims everything not essential. Suffering also changes how time feels. The future becomes vague, sometimes threatening. Long-term planning feels unrealistic when you don't know how you'll feel tomorrow. So sufferers often become experts in the present moment, even if they don't feel mindful. They learn to manage now, just now. That's not weakness. That's adaptation. There's another layer people rarely talk about. Prolonged suffering often comes with isolation, not because others don't care, but because pain becomes difficult to translate. After explaining it a few times and watching nothing change, you stop trying, language fails, so you carry it silently. And silence, over time, compounds suffering. Yet something paradoxical happens. Endurance builds a quiet competence. People who suffer learn how to regulate themselves under pressure. They develop emotional tolerance most people never have to cultivate. They can sit with discomfort without needing immediate relief. That doesn't make suffering good, but it does leave behind psychological strength. However, suffering has a shadow. When pain lasts long enough, it can become familiar. Familiarity creates attachment. Letting go of suffering can feel disorienting, even frightening. If pain has been the organizing principle of your life, healing feels like losing structure. Who are you when you're no longer surviving? This is why some people unconsciously resist recovery. Not because they want to suffer, but because suffering has become identity, rhythm, meaning. Removing it would require rebuilding the self from the ground up. That's a terrifying task. And still, resilience isn't about staying in pain forever. It's about the capacity to remain open while enduring. To not let suffering calcify into bitterness. To allow moments of relief without guilt. To believe that pain does not get the final word on who you are. If you are someone who has suffered quietly for a long time, it doesn't mean you are fragile or broken. It means your nervous system learned how to survive without guarantees, without rescue, without certainty. That ability is not visible. It doesn't get praised. But it is profound. Psychtrum exists to explore these internal architectures we rarely name but live inside every day. And in the next video, we'll explore what actually allows suffering to transform instead of stagnate. And why some people emerge changed but not consumed. I'll see you there.